Alright, where are we? Buda. It was a 4-hour ferry ride from Lofoten. This was a special place because my buddy Seth spent 6 cold, dark months here for college, so he was giving me some information about it. I had a warm showers host, a Palestinian man named Always. He was older but staying at a dorm, so when I got there for fun I messaged Seth, saying like, did you stay here? And wouldn't you know, 10 years ago he'd stayed at the exact same place. So Buda is the administrative center of Nordland County. We are still just north of the Arctic Circle. It's the largest city in Nordland County. It's known for its wind. Not a great thing. My host actually had hearing damage from the wind in the winter. My friend Marta had really nothing good to say about this city. Seth was depressed most of the time he was here, but based on my experience in Buda, I loved it. And once again, found it very hard to leave. Had a great nightlife scene. Had one of the coolest libraries I've seen so far. Shout out to the libraries, always my ticket to freedom. The final bastion against capitalism. I don't have to buy nothing. I don't have to do nothing. Leave me alone. Shut up. We're in a library. But it was in Buda that I found out about Biltema, the Walmart of Norway. And then you see the irony of the human existence. And one thing I'm talking about capitalism lambasting it, and then the next I'm talking about Walmart and how great it is. What can you do? Making my way down Nordland County fast, faces past and I'm homebound. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Saltstraumen. One of the easier location names to say in Norwegian. The tidal current here is considered the strongest in the world. It's only a couple miles south of Buda. Honestly, I wanted to jump in and see how fast I would go. Then I noticed there are whirlpools. Then I thought about how crazy that would be and not fun. So the bridge here is not that old, which means before the bridge, yeah, people just died. I don't know. They crossed it somehow, but so literally right after seeing Saltstraumen, there's a market called Coop over the bridge. I run into another biker. Her name is Celine. Yeah, Celine convinces me to help her wild camp. I'm barely out of Buda, but the philosophy goes, at the opportunity to meet somebody, you should do it. Celine was from Paris, France, teacher for 15 years, firefighter, cyclist, fellow human on the run. When I left at 5 a.m. the next morning, I saw 2 baby moose. Celine saw 2 baby whales. So, I mean, who won that? I think she was lying, but personally, you know. It's kind of nice when it's quiet, honestly. This one's kind of important. There's a glacier in the center. I didn't know anything about this. Celine asked me about it. It's called Svartisen. On this particular day, I got up at 5 a.m. And some days, like, you just want to keep biking. Because the scenery is incredible. And it just continues to be. Then there are days where the weather changes. For instance, the day after this, it rained. The next day, the rain stopped. But a 50-mile-per-hour wind came about. At one point, I just hid inside of a ferry terminal. On this specific bridge, it had a sign that said 22 meters per second. Had to do a little math. 50 miles per hour. Somebody lost their little turtle top, as I like to call it. It's a bad vacation. A turtle top. So at this point in Nordland, we're in Sadness Zone, which when I looked at it, looked like the town was just called Sadness. This mountain range is known as the Seven Sisters. You can hike all across these mountains, and in front of the mountains was an airport. You ever just kind of wait for something to explode? Nah, me neither. What you know about Peter Dawes? I stopped at his museum, and they had a chapel originally built in 1100. So this is the 1100 part. I asked the tour guide about it, and it was kind of weird. They were guessing, based on the architecture here, the pillar, and the other pillar, which was a big thing around the 1100s, 1200s. Still not entirely convinced, but we'll go with it. One thing I've learned in Norway, they don't write anything down. They never did. There's a lot of missing history, which is frustrating. But not with Peter Dawes. Peter Dawes. 1647 to 1707. Described as, quote, the foremost poet of his generation, end quote. It's funny, I've also been called that. Doth thou art take a ferrieth yes. Hereth I metteth Timoth, the German Tim. We met at a ferry. I had just eaten 1,000 grams of potato salad. Actually crazy. Think about that amount. So I was not social. But still, Tim and I would bike many moons and see many vistas. Tim was a machine. I mean, German engineering, he had the days counted, he had the miles counted, the feet. But lucky for me, it was all in kilometers and meters, so I had no idea what he was saying. I would smile and nod and say, that's crazy. We did how many kilometers? Damn. But I still don't know any of it. This was literally the end of the county line of Nordland, as if to say, thanks for being here. Somewhere